Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Transformational Self-Care Masterclass. I am your host, Jamie McFadden. I'm super duper, duper, duper pumped to be here with you today. Each and every one of you that has said yes to this call warms my heart in more ways than I can express. And for those that aren't watching the call live, I'm happy that you can watch this later. Thank goodness for Zoom recordings. But I am here today to share with you some of the genuine secrets for transitional and transformational self-care, so that if you're on this call right now, you are going to walk away with literal action steps that you can take today. We're all making this commitment today that for the next at least 7 days of your life, you're creating and curating super non-negotiables that are going to support your self-care. We also now have this beautiful group here, which I like to call my village. And I kind of politely forced you all to connect before you even knew anything of what was going on today on this call. So you already have some sort of an accountability partner, whether you know it or not. If you're not watching this call live, don't worry, you're going to have an assignment that will help take care of that. But to dive in here today, I want to kick it off with one of my favorite quotes. And I'm just going to kind of make the quote my own because I can't remember it exactly offhand, but it's a Socrates quote. And it's essentially, be kind, because every single person that you meet or see is going through a battle. Every single one of us on this call, every single one of us in this world is going through something at any given moment, at any given time. And that can be really hard to face the reality of life and wake up and go do the things when we all put this kind of mask on, but we're not really necessarily checking in with what we need. And so today's call, I like to do different variations of self-care. Today's call is really about taking that kindness that we talk about, that we share with others. Allie has the shirt that says, be a good person on, and really radiating that kindness starting from within to ask ourselves today, what is it that I need? And where can I give myself that extra boost of love starting today? Because the more that we give ourselves, the more that we obviously have to give to others. We all know this, we all say this, but it's a lot easier said than done because life gets in the way. Who can attest that they're going through something in their life right now that's maybe challenging or some sort of an obstacle? Okay, so for those that aren't on the call, every single person has their hand up right now. I'm going to encourage each and every one of you to be taking notes for yourself. This is not for me, this is for you. And this is quite frankly what is going to help you get through some of these transitions and still formulate your own sustainable self-care routine. So, transformations. I believe life is like the ocean. We are drops of water in the ocean. We are all connected. We are consistently moving energetically. We're exchanging energy at every single moment, every single day with ourselves, with one another, with nature, with everything that is around us. And things can absorb into us as well as things are going to radiate out of us. So self-care is essentially taking the responsibility for being the drop in the ocean that's going with the flow and that's helping things to glide, as opposed to being the resistance or creating more waves and ripples. The ripples we want to create today are going to be ripples that are going to affect every area of our life and every person in our life. So think of it this way. I want you right now to think about a person in your life who inspires you in any way, shape, or form. Think of, just close your eyes for just a moment and think about somebody that really inspires you. Right away, I went to my 92-year-old grandma, and thinking about someone that inspires you, what is it about that person that when you think of them, it just lights you up? Is it their energy? Is it their love? Is it their kindness? What is it about them? And go ahead and open your eyes. I want you to acknowledge what came to your mind when you think about the person that inspires you. We all are inspiring each other. If you are taking notes, great opportunity. Write down, like, who is this person and what do they do that inspires you daily? And how does that make you feel? Right? Like, we all are here to support one another. And oftentimes we're so wrapped up in this like rat race of, okay, did I do this thing? I got to check the box. I got to go here. Everything is fast. Everything is moving, but a lot of it is out of our control. And we kind of have this idea that we can control it. And so I'm here to remind you all that we aren't really, self-care isn't about controlling and checking the boxes. Okay. And does anyone on here practice self-care regularly? Show of hands. Yeah. Okay. In some way, shape, or form. I think we all do, whether it's the way we want to or not. We typically are practicing self-care, even just by getting up in the morning, right? So self-care, by definition, is taking action to preserve or enhance one's own well-being. Okay. This is not some performative, like, let me put this show on for everybody to show that I'm doing well, like how we kind of do it on Instagram and stuff, in general, or how we even show up at work sometimes. It's like we might be feeling like crap, but we show up and we're like, we're here, we're ready, this and that. But at the end of the day, we're like crying inside. So what I want us to think about today is think about the wave that you are currently in, the season of your life right now. What is your wave like? Is your wave, are you kind of surfing? Are you cruising? Because we have those moments, right? Where we're like, ooh, life is great. Things are going the way we want. Or, and this is going to be polar, are you kind of like drowning under the waves and you've been now submerged underwater and you're like grasping for air and you really hope that somebody can throw you a floaty, and or somewhere in between. Start to acknowledge right now. And like I said, feel free to take notes at any given time, because the more that we can raise our own self-awareness, the more that we can recognize what needs to be done and take those action steps. Now, I'm going to just give you a quick little glimpse into my recent wave, just to keep it real with you here. I am pregnant, as many of you may know. And this little dude, which he wants to say hi. This little basketball here, literally carrying like a full-blown watermelon these days, has brought out the most miraculous pain I've ever experienced in my life. And I say miraculous because it's something that I 100% know is a miracle and a blessing that I needed, right? Like self-care sometimes is facing the things that we need when we don't really know how we need it. But in the last 6 months, I've experienced more physical pain than I ever have my entire life. I've seen more doctors than I ever have my entire life. I've had more treatments than I ever have my entire life. And because when you're pregnant, you can't just like take the pill, or, you can't do a lot of things that you would normally do if you're under certain conditions. And so I've had to really sit with it. Okay. And I share this with you today because I actually think that that's why this is such a miracle for me on this journey in this wave of my life, is I've got self-care dialed in, right? I've been doing this for 15 years solid. I've got to train with some of the best, trainers of the world, nutritionists of the world, sleep doctors, therapists, brain doctors. I've created this awesome village, and I still get waves. Life's still going to hit me. So I remind you all of this, that it's not like once we check the boxes of self-care, it's like, oh, we're done. Okay, I'm all good for the rest of my life. No, life is going to then challenge you in certain ways so that you can face your own life waves and grow and transcend into wherever your next spot is in life, right? So a lot of that is perspective shift. And I encourage each of you to actually today take some time to contemplate what is going on in your life and where are your waves coming in. Start to notice, like, where are you having issues, and write these down. Self-care is, I believe, there's two forms of self-care. Okay. So it's taking responsibility for our well-being. One is our surface self-care, right? So this is like, we're taking a walk on the beach and we're literally dipping our toes in the ocean. We're like, okay, that's the facial, that's the massage, that's the getting our nails done. That's the, even like making our grocery list, like the surface self-care. There's so much of that. And we get fed all over social media that that's what we need to do. That if we do these performative acts, that all of a sudden our self-care goals are going to be reached and we're going to feel great. But I'm here to tell you that a lot of the times that's a bunch of BS. So those things are very important. But when life's waves really are hitting you, or you're in a big transition, many of you reached out to me and said, time, money, stress, kids, or other responsibilities, like these four main things that we all pretty much deal with. we're going to deal with financial stress. We're going to deal with having other responsibilities besides ourselves. We're going to deal with stress. We're going to deal with overwhelm. And then things like physical ailments or things that are unexpected, grieving things that happen in our life or things that may come up. We need to prepare ourselves to stay grounded and be on that nice surfboard when the waves do hit us, right? So here's what we're going to get into right now is self-care is something that you're doing and you have an opportunity to do every day. But we can also get really overwhelmed. In fact, someone on this call, I won't share who, but someone on this call had shared with me recently that she was doing so much self-care that she felt like maybe she's like overdoing the self-care bucket. It's like, okay, well, I'm doing all the things and like, but I'm feeling stressed out because I got like so much self-care to do. And she said, can that be possible? I said, abso-freaking-lutely. Sometimes we are that way because a lot of us, who on this call is someone that pushes yourself like real hard? Yeah. Okay. So that's pretty typical with most of my clients. And it's also pretty typical that who on this call is really good at taking care of others and being like full-blown support when somebody needs you, but then it's also like kind of hard, or you feel like ashamed or guilty or just weird to ask for some help. Okay. Or you just feel like we as women, because I think it's all women on this call, so I feel fine saying that, we are truly conditioned to believe that we need to be strong and courageous enough to not ask for help and to say yes and accept all these things and to be either the good girl or to be the superwoman all the time. And then we take that and quite literally, we harness that energy and then we show up every day like, yeah, I got this. No problem. Oh, sure. You want to throw me something else? Go ahead. And I know that so well because I've done that. And every single one of my clients has done that in their life as well. So today I'm here to really remind each and every one of you that we need to give ourselves a heck of a lot more grace and compassion. I am going to say that again. We need to give ourselves way more grace and compassion. It is so easy to get wrapped up in feeling like you need to pressure yourself into performing and doing all the things. But in reality, the best thing that you can do for yourself is actually check in, which is what we're going to do right this very minute. So I invite each and every one of you to close your eyes. Close your eyes. Hopefully you're in some sort of a comfortable seated position. And just begin by noticing your breath in and out through your nose, deep as you can. Breath in and breathe out. Just notice your breath as it is right now. No matter what's going on around you, just continue breathing here. See if you can lengthen your exhale. See if you can expand your body on your inhale a little bit deeper, a little bit wider. Imagine that every breath you're taking is the abundance of self-care. That every inhale that you are breathing in is a gift. And this gift is going to give you the self-care in the area of your life that you really need it right now. And using your imagination, notice what comes up for you. What area of your life do you know you need or want better self-care? I want you to take your attention into your heart space, keeping your eyes closed if you can. Continue breathing deeply. I want you to really get into your heart space. I want you to feel the love and feel the compassion and feel the energy that you consistently bring out into the world, that you share with others, the joy, the light, the hard work, all of the ways that you show up. I want you to think about that in your heart right now. the people you take care of, the ones that you love, the people you check in on. And now I want you to take a big breath in, and I want you to think about, how can I love myself better today? What would I be doing if I were loving myself more today? And just let your heart speak to you. I want you to notice what feelings or sensations come up in your head, in your heart, and in your body as you just sit here for just another 30 seconds and breathe. There's nowhere you need to be. How can I love myself better today? How can I be more kind with myself? In what ways can I honor who I am in this moment and meet myself where I'm at? Knowing that this present moment is such a miracle and a gift. And I am exactly where I am supposed to be. And now take one big breath in and one big breath out. And slowly begin to open your eyes. And I want you to acknowledge with your eyes open what came up for you. And feel free to write it down for yourself. And if you feel called to write it in the chat, please do. But most of all, what I want you to notice is just by stopping, right? We started this call, we had energy. It's like, okay, let's get the exchange of Instagram handles and we're diving right in and this and that. And then we stop to breathe, to check in. Sometimes self-care is truly that simple. It's just stopping, closing our eyes and breathing to acknowledge what we need right now. And I love it. Someone just wrote, at first, I thought exercise was what I needed, but what I really need is a nap. And that sometimes a nap. Wow. Okay, we got some sleepy. We need some sleep here, which I'm not surprised. But I wanted to do that with you today because before we dive into the rest of our action steps, it's so important that we check in with ourselves. We live in this really fast world where there's so much going on, and then we tend to put all this pressure on ourselves, and then we take the load of everyone else's pressure, and then we want to do all the things for all the people that we love, and then all of a sudden, you guys will call me or someone like me, and then you're like, darn, I did it again, right? Like I want to put myself first, but for some reason, I just keep doing the same pattern, and usually it's in one specific area that we really need to work on first. Okay. So that's what we're going to get to next. So I'm going to just really quick read a couple more of these. I can honor myself today by holding myself accountable to my workout, nutrition goals, and make sure to give myself grace. So beautiful. Slow down. Slow down is one of the biggest ones that I feel for myself and my clients that can really just help us ground into what we actually need. Because a lot of the times we're just going with what we think we should be doing. Be open and brave to receive love. Oh my gosh, Devin, thank you so much for sharing that. Kat, what came through? Stay in the excitement and possibilities of life and transition. Create from this space, not from fear or lack. Oh, these are so good. They get my eyes like teary-eyed because so often it's just that. It's taking that extra minute of your day to go and ask those simple questions, right? Like I can prompt them. This is my job, right? I prompt these questions, but we could also do this for ourselves. So I'm going to invite you that for the next 7 days, at least once a day, 1 minute, close your eyes, breathe. So if you can commit to this, that would be great. For the next 7 days, 1 minute a day, close your eyes, breathe, and ask yourself, what do I need right now? And sometimes people will say, well, I remember one person said to me, the when I hear the word need, it makes me feel like it's coming from a place of lack. And to me, I say, actually, I disagree when it comes to your self-care, because your self-care is about actually taking responsibility for your needs so you can feel well. And the only way that we can do that is by making ourselves the priority. Oftentimes we've given everything away and then we have nothing left. So here's what we're going to do. It's going to be a really fun exercise that's going to be pretty quick. So grab your pen and paper. We're going to go through my wave system, which some of you know very well. Some of you may not know, but it's the system that I've created over the last 10 years and then really have solidified it. So what I want you to do is I want you to draw a circle. Okay. Your circle is going to be your pizza, your pie, whatever you want to call it. There's going to be 6 pieces. Make 6 pieces of your pizza. And then I'm going to write these down in the chat because I want you to make these your pizza pieces, your pie pizza. I call it pizza because I love pizza. So there we go. Especially pregnant. Pizza is really, food is just so good. All right. So we're going to do mental in 1. We're going to do physical, emotional. Remember, I'm writing these down for you, so don't worry. Spiritual, social, and financial. Okay. Now, just by looking at this wheel, because today we're just going to go quick through this, just by looking at mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, social, financial, right away, notice if there's one that sticks out to you, like, oh man, I really want to work on my mental health, right? Oh man, I really want to work on my finances, because we're going to utilize this for the next 7 days. So I just want you to pick one. We don't want to overwhelm ourselves. We already have enough on our plate. Maybe you've realized you're like, wow, the spiritual one's really calling out to me. And I just doing that little breath thing right now just made me think I really want to connect to my higher self, my belief system, all that. So pick one of those. All right. And the reason I have you draw this pie and make 6 pieces is so for your own homework, you can go through this later. You can do this. I do this wheel thing all the time. And I've been doing this for years. Like Kitsy's done a ton of my programs. Patty's done a ton of my programs. And can we still use the wheel? We can always use this works, because then you write it out and then you see. So now what I want us to go through is the wave system. So wave stands for well-being. I'll write this down too. Awareness, vision, and energy. Okay. Now these 4 parts to this system are, quite frankly, you can use this to change any and all areas of your life. And what we're going to do today, and I'm going to wrap this up because I'm cognizant of everyone's time. And so does everybody have 10 more minutes? Yeah. Okay, good. So we're going to just go 10 more minutes. And 10 more minutes is all we need, which is why I want you to see this as all sustainable stuff that we can do quick. I like snippets because my life too, just like yours, flies by. So well-being, hopefully you've chosen the one area, right? So we have the mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, social, financial, one of those areas. And now you're going to write down in this moment with what you just were thinking about in your mind, what you just felt in your heart with that one area. What would it look like to be well in your life as it is right now, right? Write it out. Jot some words down. I'll give an example. Okay. So for example, I'm going to use social because for me, the last 6 months, I've been kind of not antisocial, but I definitely had to take so much off of my plate and really just go through the wave I was riding. And now I'm getting this like mojo back that feels really good. And I'm like, okay, I'm coming, and I want to reconnect and I want to reestablish things. So for me, what it means to be well is to show up daily in certain areas of my life, to be working with my accountability partners again. So what does it mean to be well to you? It's about you deciding that. And then next is the awareness. What are you currently doing or not doing to make that happen? So if my goal is to be more social, to show up, to put myself out there again, to communicate and reconnect with people, I need to understand, well, what the heck am I doing for that, right? Like I'm sure you guys have maybe seen, I've shown back up on social media. I have this program going. I'm doing a book signing this week in LA, which I'm super pumped about, but it's like, I'm putting my energy there because that's really important to me right now. And then little, like, let's go to surface level things. I will wholeheartedly admit when I get up and I put a 2-minute face on, like 2 minutes that I put, for me, it does something to myself. It's not about anyone else. When I get up and I go take a quick walk around the block with my coffee and my dog and my kid, I feel like I'm instantly connected, right? There's this interconnectedness. And then I put on 2 minutes of makeup and put actual clothes on instead of just throwing on sweatpants. There's something about it that energizes me to be more social. So start to acknowledge, what are those things? Bring awareness to, what does that look like? The awareness part is the most key. And here's what I want you to remember. You got to meet yourself with love and compassion. If you start going to negative town in your head of like, no, like having the self-doubt, like I can't even tell you, this is the most time I ever took off work. And I thought many times, how am I going to show back up? I've never taken this much. I never took time off social media. I never took time off of all these things. And even in my mind, I'm like, I don't know if I could do this. So I just want you all to know that we all have these kind of negative loops in our head about whether it's money, whether it's our connections, whether it's our physical self-care. We play these silly loops in our head that we just have to say, okay, no, that's not true. And I'm going to show up anyways, right? Great quote on my water cup today. I use coffee mugs for everything. Nothing will work unless you do. Thank you, Maya Angelou, right? It starts with you. So that is the part of self-care that is about you, but it's just about taking that little first step. So bring the awareness to what those things are, and then write down a vision, make a vision board, draft out, like paint a picture. If you're artistic, literally go and like paint, like, what are the colors you feel that would make you feel well? What are you doing? Right? So if I think about myself, I'm just using this as the example, Jamie being super like healthy, social, the person that I love being most, like my high self, I call her Xena, being my Xena. That's me right now. It's showing up on these calls, being super excited to connect with people. It's planning events, like I'm going to LA tomorrow to go to this book signing. That's been a dream of mine, but I've had to ask. So here we're going to so that's the vision, right? Is like, what does that look like? Xena is in her higher power. Doesn't matter if she's, look at this, pregnant, she's still going to show up. She's going to show up and she's going to be that person that she believes she can be to then inspire someone else, because that's what it is about. So I want you all to now go to the E. Biggest takeaway from this call, energy. We have 86,400 seconds every single day if we are lucky. Your energy matters. Where you put your energy matters. So I want you to think about, what are you committing to? 3 things, 3 small action steps. What are you committing to for the next 7 days that are going to help you reach that, towards that wellness goal? These could be tiny things. So I'm going to once again use myself as the example here, just for time's sake. But I want you to think about, okay, if I want to work on, my social element again, right? I had to create set boundaries. There's a lot of things I had to say no to in order to say yes to myself right now. Okay. I had to take time off, but now I'm back, but I needed that. So I want you all to think about, what are 3 small action steps that you can take today? Think of what area it is. What does it look like to be well? What are you currently doing? Or what do you kind of know, like, all right, if I were doing this, this would be helpful, right? And then create that vision. What does it look like as your Xena, your higher self? And then give yourself at least 3 action steps. So I encourage you, one of you or all of you, pop in the chat and say what you're going to be doing. Write that down. What are you going to be doing? Call it out for yourself. I want you to be affirming. This is me. I am doing these things. What are you doing? Because you clearly showed up today. You all showed up with 100% of you for you to support yourself. So if you can, pop in that chat, and that's going to be your action steps. Now, in the beginning of this call, whoever had shown up at 10 o'clock, we put our Instagram handles in the chat. Okay. If you missed that, it's okay, because this is a perfect opportunity to do so. So here's my challenge for each of you is go through the chat or pop your Instagram on there. And otherwise you can reach out to me, and I'm going to give you this after, but I want you to connect with one person on this call, with just at least one person on this call. And I want you to send them a message that says self-care, like, and here's my self-care goal. And all I want you to do is, you're just giving that energy. You're just exchanging that energy, because what happens is we get the wheels turning and then things start going, right? Like now all of a sudden I got my mojo back. I was, in and out of doctor's offices for 6 months, every kind of treatment possible, haven't slept. But now all of a sudden I'm like, you know what? Yeah, that's part of my journey, but I'm me again. I feel great. And that's going to happen. So showing up for ourselves day in and day out is really what matters. And then asking for support. We've got to ask for support. There's no way around it. There's no way. And once again, going back to this moment here, that you would have said yes to this call if I wasn't really showing up for me. There's no way that I would have booked Barnes and Noble, which has been one of the biggest dreams in my life, to go do a book signing at freaking Barnes and Noble at the Grove, had I not asked my publisher, hey, I really want to do this. How do we make this happen? It's like, we have to ask. And then in addition to that, having accountability partners, you're going to have so much more success in your self-care journey when you have people that back you, which is why I've curated this village. All right. Now, with the village, this is the last thing I'm going to kind of get to today is I decided, thanks to my business coach who really pushed me. And then my accountability partners were like, yeah. And I was like, all right, I'm doing it. So this baby's going to be here. According to the older Greek ladies at the Greek festival last week, he's coming in a week or two. I don't think that that's happening. It is not happening. He's going to stay inside. You're going to stay inside for a little bit longer. But on September 25th, I'm delivering my final self-care program before my delivery. I have incredible guest speakers who are coming. It's 30 days. Everyone on this call receives $50 off. The program itself is $350. Everyone on this call, if you sign up today, because I'm going to do at least 10 spots of this, we'll get $50 off. So it'll be $300. It's for 30 days. We will cover all of the pillars that we just went through. So you'll get a lot of gems for your nutritional needs as well as for your financial needs. I have special guest speakers in each area that specifically help, because I'm not an expert in all this stuff. I have to hire people that help me and coach me along this stuff. So then I get to bring them in and then help you. So I would absolutely love for you to be in that program. We're going to kick things off on September 25th, but this special is going to be for the next 24 hours. So I would absolutely love you to be there. And it would be great that we could all connect more and more. One of you, like I said, I'm going to have Sophia pick today after school. One of you is going to win the spot in the program. Okay. So I'll let you know there. However, book today. And you know what? Since I'm so happy to be doing this again, I'm going to throw in an extra gift for you for signing up today in the next 24 hours. You'll receive that gift in your email after you have signed up. Okay. So that's what I want to say about that. I'm going to share with you, hold on, one thing. And before we go, does anybody have any questions, comments, or feelings that have come up for you right now that you'd like to share in the chat? Please. Feel empowered. Yes. That makes me so happy. So inspired. Ooh. Okay, good. So, and here's the thing. This is coming from a woman who I just put the code in. The code today for the $50 off is Village50. I put the code in there to sign up if you're like, okay, I'm ready to sign up and join the Village right now. Like I said, start September 25th, 30 days. You're going to do a lot of self-study, which is great. You'll have an accountability partner that you'll have assigned to you. So you'll know, okay, I'm going to be checking in with this person. You'll also have me. And then the rest of the village. And these videos will be quick. This is all going to be done virtually. There's nothing live in this program. So I want it to be accessible. And we have special guest speakers that are amazing and incredible, like Sharon Land, who's an amazing holistic psychologist. We have Nicole Shaka, who's going to be doing some mobility stuff for us. We have a pelvic floor specialist that's coming in to help with all the pelvic floor needs. We have a nutritionist. We have another therapist that's a neuroscience doctor. Who else? Oh, Samantha Joy, who is the publisher. If you're ever interested in writing a book, she's also an identity coach that helps you kind of figure out where you're at. So many great special guests. So that's going to be that. That's my spiel there. But last but not least, all I want to just leave you with is whether or not you do these steps is up to you. But because you showed up today, it tells me that you acknowledge your worth for yourself and for your well-being. So I want you to take that with you for the rest of the day. And just remember your ripple effect. Like you all just said, inspired, this, that. That's going to radiate into the world. And I believe self-care is a radical act to change the entire world, but it literally does start with us and then curating this village. And then we create all this energy outwardly as we've put more inwardly. Okay. I love you. I'm sending so much love and gratitude to each and every one of you. If you need anything, reach out to me afterwards. But I just appreciate you for showing up today. Thank you for showing up for you, for each other, and of course for me, because it feels really good. Anything's possible. Go do it. Take those action steps. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.